Is it really a wise decision to compare with a single cylinder engine with a parallel twin? Yes, no, maybe. So today's topic is all about this. So let's get started.
Hustler certified G. Hustler certified G.
Of course, yes. When you have two machines, one is Royal Enfield Interceptor 650, and the second one is Dominar 400. So, is it really wise decision to make a comparison in between these two machines? Of course, yes. Why? Because both are best in class in terms of money, because they are cheap and the best. Okay, because there are lots of differences in between two machines in terms of engine specs, riding capability, and everything, but they are cheap and the best in their price segment. And on top of that, they have the one of the best motorcycle in terms of touring capability. I believe you have some sort of knowledge of these two machines. Either you have Googled it or you have seen some YouTube videos where you can understand that what is the facts and figures of this motorcycle. But still, I am going to add some of the important facts or figures with this video so that it will be easier for you to understand while we are going for a small spin-off ride, while I'm going to describe you which will would be the best option for you in Indian market.
So as you can see that I'm riding Dominar 400 and it is very good bike in terms of highway cruising, and especially in a straight road where you don't need to maneuver your bike. So this is the best bike in terms of highway cruising because of its heavy weight, because of it is wider tire. You can get a good kind of stability in terms of highway cruising. But in a city ride condition, this bike is not at all good, because first of all it is weighted a lot. Even though the Interceptor is weighted a lot, in fact it is above 200 kilogram, but still because of its Dominar's heavy handlebar, that you cannot maneuver your bike in a city, okay, or you cannot filter the city traffic with this Dominar. But Interceptor, it is having a very light handlebar, and that's the reason you can maneuver your bike. This is the first part. And the second thing which I like about this bike is the headlight illumination. The headlight is absolutely phenomenal. You no need any auxiliary lights or any aftermarket lights in Dominar 400. That is the second thing which I like about this bike. Third thing which I like about this bike is a little bit updated, and it has twin display, and you can get all sort of information in this bike, because which is really important while you are cruising in a highway, and especially the the average what you are getting, then the distance to empty, and this kind of information you really need it while you are riding it. I know that the second display, it is placed in a bit of an odd position, where if you install any tank bag, you will not get that gear position indicator and all that. But still, I feel that this bike is a little bit updated than Interceptor. Now the second thing and the last thing which I like about this bike, not even this bike, I like I like in every Bajaj bike, that is the spare parts availability. You can expect each and every shop the spare parts of Dominar, or especially all the Bajaj bikes. So as I'm comparing with the Dominar, so let's say the Dominar, you can expect all sort of spare parts or aftermarket accessories, like like everything you can get it in Indian market, and especially in every city, every automobile shop, you can expect the spare parts or accessories. That's the good thing about this Dominar. It is typically the Indian motorcycle, okay. But what is the thing which I don't like about this bike is Only thing, the vibration, it vibrates a lot. If you are over 5000 rpm or 6000 rpm, you can feel the vibration in handlebar, in seat, in foot pegs, and which irritates you a lot in terms of long run. Okay, so now it is time to switch to Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. I'm riding Royal Enfield Interceptor 650, and it is that means it is the difference between these two bikes near about 1 lakh. So it is really wise decision to go, pay extra 1 lakh and go with a Royal Enfield Interceptor. Of course, yes, because it is a parallel to an engine. It is very smooth. In fact, you don't feel like that you are riding a Royal Enfield bike in this Interceptor 650. You will not get that third what you used to get in Royal Enfield bikes, especially which is known as typical bullet. Now, another thing which I like about this bike is the exhaust note. And obviously, again, I'm telling you that you can expect this kind of growl from this parallel twin 650 engine. So in fact, if you go with any aftermarket aftermarket muffler like AEW or a Gursevak or Road Rooster, definitely it will spice it up, the exhaust note. So now another thing which I like about this bike is that Royal Enfield came up with all sort of color combination with this bike. So it doesn't matter that whether you are a college going boy or whether you are an office going man, you can order the bike the way you want. Okay, this is the good thing about this bike. Now the second thing and the third thing which I like about this bike is the city ride. So this bike is phenomenal in terms of highway cruising and as well as in a city ride too. But you need to be very careful while you are riding in a city, because the position of the silencer is just looking like a bazooka, and it is going in outer side. So that's the reason while you are filtering that filtering the city traffic, you have to be very careful in terms of that the position of the odd position of the silencer. Now another thing which I like about this bike is the clutch. Okay, the clutch is very soft. If you compare with the Dominar, it is very soft and is very nimble. Okay, so you can you can change the gear within a fraction of a second. That's the best part about this Royal Enfield Interceptor. Okay, and but I don't like some of the things in Royal Enfield Interceptor. First of all, the bike is not get the power in 1000 rpm or in a first gear or in a second gear. You can expect the power, or you can feel the power after after third gear, and especially after 5000 rpm or 6000 rpm. But trust me, this bike is very smooth. Okay, you will not get that typical third from what you used to get in other bullets. Now another thing which I don't like about this bike is the headlight. You definitely need an auxiliary headlight if you are riding it, but I know that I cannot complain because it is it is a retro bike. So definitely you can expect that the spoke or the tube tire with this bike. Another thing which I don't like about this bike, it is come up with a tube tire. So that's the reason what happened, that if any chance the bike is punctured, then it will be a hell for you to push the bike, because it's weighted huge, that is near about it is 230 kilo. But if you I know that is a value for a machine, but yes, of course you can go with any aftermarket rim, or you can go with any aftermarket treatment where you can make your tube tire to a tubeless. Okay, that is the good thing about this bikes. Another thing which I don't like about this bike is a sitting comfort. So the seat is very narrow, and it is not well formed, and especially which you need it in a highway, because if you compare with the Dominar seat and the Royal Enfield seat, so I prefer to be in Dominar rather than in Royal Enfield, because the seat is very good and it's well formed in Dominar, which misses out in Royal Enfield Interceptor. So yes, I know that if you invest near about, 500 bucks, obviously you can get a well formed or well cushioned seat in Royal Enfield Interceptor. But yes, of course you should do it if you are having a tendency to go out or go for a long ride. Obviously you should do that. Another thing which I don't like about this bike is the meter. Okay, I know the meter console is a little bit old fashioned, but again I cannot complain because it's a retro bike. Now another why I don't like about this meter, because the fuel meter is full of error. You know what, because while I have started riding this bike, that time it was showing 3 sticks, and now just after moving 500 meter it is blinking. So, and in fact I have seen a lot of Royal Enfield bike having the same problem, be it Interceptor, be it Thunderbird. Those who have a digital fuel meter, they do have that problem in this meter. But if you are if you cannot complain because it's a value for money. But it is really wise decision if you can afford to pay extra 1 lakh, then I would really recommend you to go with a Royal Enfield. And also, the Royal Enfield being a 650cc engine, the expenses is way lesser than other 650 segment bikes. Okay, so another thing which I don't like about this bike is the position of the brake lever. The position of the brake lever is closer to the big or massive engine. So let me remind you that it is a bloody 650 engine. So once you are accelerate it, or once you are riding it for near about 20 minutes or in a busy traffic, so if you have a plan to ride it with a rubber slipper or rubber shoes, I would not recommend you to do that, because you will get the heat on your feet. So don't do that. So I would recommend you to ride with the proper gear. If you don't have the proper gear to ride, I would recommend you to go with any leather shoes, which will protect you from the excessive heat of that engine. Okay, so these are the positive aspects, and these are the negative aspects of this Royal Enfield Interceptor 650.
So this is my riding review of these two machines. Okay, this Interceptor and the Dominar is mainly for touring purposes. Okay, but yes, again I'm telling you that if you have a tight pocket, or if you have a budget of 2.5 lakh, and you want a cruising bike, then definitely I'll suggest you to go with Dominar 400. But if you can spend 1 lakh more, then I would suggest you to go with Interceptor 650. And in terms of sitting posture, both bike are little it is kind of a similar. Okay, and you didn't feel much more difference. But yes, in terms of seating comfort, in terms of light, that means illumination, definitely Dominar is in upper hand. Again, if you spend another 1 lakh, and you can definitely, as I told you, that you can go with Interceptor 650. But let me remind you one thing, that first, that you need to modify your seat. And the second thing, what you need to do, you need a auxiliary light, because as you know that Royal Enfield is a retro bike, and you need an auxiliary light for cruising purposes. Okay, so these are the key factors. So now it's your call, it's your choice, it's your money, which one you will go with. But again, I'm telling you, before you go with any of the bikes, just take a test ride, because I'm taking a test ride, and this is as per my riding. I'm giving this riding review. So take a test ride, go to your nearest showrooms, take a test ride, think before you spend money, and choose the right bike for you. So I have to sign off this video right now, and please stay at your home and stay happy. Spend a quality time with your friends, your family members, but yes, of course, at your home. And don't forget to subscribe my channel, that is the Bangalorean Bong, and share my video as much as you can, so that which will help you in a longer run. and after lockdown it will be easy for you to choose the correct bike for you. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.